yeah, yeah. Well, seeing you.
Good, how are you?
You were Catholic,
I'm a graphic manager. It's my first time bringing it, I've never brought
Oh,
it.
really? Oh, really?
I'll let you have it for a while.
Thank you.
I have to go to mass.
No, you don't have to go to
No,
mass.
no, no. Our friend Angie prayed for us. We live in Columbia.
Oh, good for you.
And she's making us go for mass.
Oh, okay.
Here's another bag.
This is like Chanel. $10 a piece.
Wait a minute, the holidays and
$5.
Is that when you're not here?
I got a black one too. $5.
those are cool, I like those. Those are green.
I'm doing the business.
I like the little bag. That's good.
Hey, did you leave yet?
What?
Okay, good. In the blue bag that's in the office, the square bag is the name plate. Okay. All right, thanks. Okay. Yes, thank you.
No, no, I got something myself. I'll get these gifts. This is for the fun. Oh, yes. I know, but she's known about it for years. That's all. Hi, Mar, how are you? I'm Mar. Okay. Good is it for you? Wonderful, I love it.
Thank you
You know what?
doing that.
Oh, did you get it?
You said
I tried
$8
calling.
in trimmer terminal.
I tried calling you, but I went to voicemail. I'm today we're gonna be able to do that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it more than you know. You know, I have my new trimmer because when you were it just went and it couldn't be subsidized. They didn't know. I threw away. Well, no one else cost it.
They are throwaway.
Yeah, I hate that. No, they don't. And it doesn't matter what you use.
Yep.
So I got a new
Yeah.
HP. I don't use it that much.
No, I don't.
When I need it, I use it. And I
Tom
use
uses it once in a while. I don't really use it that much.
What I like to do is print out while I write.
Keep that under your seat.
Oh, actually, can I cover it like this? Okay.
What do you have, writing on it?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Pleasure to you. Hi, Mark. Yeah, there you go.
No, and you know what? See, if you were on the East Coast, this thing would be sweating so much that this tissue would stick to it. But it's so dry.
We'll see. Oh, thanks. Let's contact. Oh, did you get my? Oh, yes.
Just tell them that. Yeah, you'll get it. You can print it. You can print it.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you?
Oh, I think Nora will probably be late. I
Hello.
Hi.
What is, oh, no, that.
This?
Yeah. Okay.
It's my keychain.
Oh, you're not gonna lose that in.
No. I guess not. No, I can walk. Yes.
I think you're right, son.
So, ready or not hot, huh? Well, they said it's gonna come down again on Thursday. Yeah, I know.
Really?
My hair
I
does.
did not expect the heat to. I did not expect it.
It's hot.
The car?
I do use hot.
Well, yeah, that's what it's called. Do you put one of those sunscreens?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So do I, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
Although, you know what? I got a tint. What color do you put for red? Tint. That keeps out the little red heat. Yeah, I mean, it looks like red.
Yeah, okay.
And
Do you cut down or do you make it yourself?
it's called sun leaves.
Okay, okay. And did they fit it to your car?
It's all done by a computer. They type in the code.
Yeah.
And it prints, it cuts the tint for the exact windows and all that. You have some. What is it?
I know.
Okay. What is he doing that he can't? He's working. Where? Assisting or crossing? What school? When is school?
I don't know, they might have back Monday. Oh, yeah,
Then they're out in June.
yeah, oh, yeah. The break is
Hi, just to let you know, I spoke with Veronica, and she also told me that the Dawn apartments ended. Okay.
No, light's not on.
nameplates are coming, they're just in the bag.
It's all right. It's all right.
She was on the phone with the health.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Isn't that the light that says on the air is not?
No, she said to wait till that one.
Yeah, I did. Not trouble.
Say.
I sent it. I'll resend it. Oh, that's okay. Let me just yeah. Mhm. And then I got the thing today for his birthday. I responded to that too. Okay, are you in tune?
Am I ever in tune?
Are you in tune?
Okay, we are on the air. I had to wait for that little sign to go on with. We have a new high-tech AV system here, and because of that, I'm going to request that you turn off your cell phones. Don't put it on airplane mode. We're not on an airplane, and it affects the transmission because we're being televised. My name is Mike Ziskin. I'm the chairman of the VillageFest board, and welcome all of you to our meeting. We're glad you're here. And this is the VillageFest board meeting of April 10th, 2018. First thing we're going to do is have a roll call.
Chair Ziskin,
Here.
Vice Chair Watson,
Here.
Board Member Meredith?
Here.
Board Member King is going to be a little late. Board Member Manley?
Here.
Board Member Tina Luise?
Present.
Board Member Montanti? We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you very much. Our next order of business is public comments. This is the opportunity for anybody in the community to come before us and speak your mind about VillageFest or anything that affects VillageFest. Do I have any public comments? Wow, no public comments. That's usually pretty good because when somebody comes up here, it's to yell at us for something. So thank you for not. Okay, board comments are next. Can we start with you? Okay,
None at this time.
none for me, thank you.
None.
Not right now.
Okay. No correspondence, is that correct? Okay. The next thing on our agenda is our consent calendar, and this includes the posting of the agenda and the approval of the minutes of our last meeting. Can I get a motion to do both, or do we need to pull any of them off? Okay,
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent calendar.
okay. Do I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Julie. Discussion, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. Thank you very much. The next part is our favorite part because it involves all of you, and these are what we call our legislative actions, and these are the vendor applications. And our first one is from 360 North, Tony Galliardo, and he's a food service current vendor. I know.
Food.
And he wants to add fish and chips. Fish and chips.
I might have a conflict. I had his chowder the other day, and I am now in love with you.
Was it New England or Manhattan?
It had lobster in it.
You probably had the lobster bisque.
The lobster
My
bisque.
husband brought it home on Thursday. It was incredible.
Cesar, please. Actually, thank you very much for allowing me to
You're
be
welcome,
here today. As the weather started changing, we also need to change our menu. We feel that New England clam chowder and lobster bisque has been very popular. People enjoy it, they like it very much, but it's also time to do a little change. So we are introducing our melon soup. When I went to health department, they looked at me like I had a third eye on my forehead. Melon soup. Well, now there is no rules in the kitchen. You can do anything you want. Avocado, watermelon, tomato, gazpacho. You can do a lot of different things. And melon soup, it is good. I like it. It is a very local growing produce here, so we need to take advantage. We also like to introduce the fish and chips. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Fish and chips, it is always good. And again, because of the weather changing, we are not doing as much baked potatoes or beef stroganoff as we did in the past. Okay? If anyone has a question, please don't hesitate to ask for anything. Yes, sir.
Okay, this is absolutely delicious.
Thank you, sir.
Is this a cream base or a puree?
Yogurt base.
It's a yogurt base.
Greek
Okay,
yogurt.
that's good to know. It has a wonderful
We
flavor.
change it from cream. We
Yeah.
also change it from ice cream.
Yeah, no, it's really
Very
nice.
light.
It's really nice. Anybody else?
Just hearing really nice things about having you on the street.
Well,
So,
thank you very much.
besides
It's
your
good to know and
restaurant.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
And we're gonna be tasting
sir.
our fish and chips.
Oh my gosh.
Beautiful.
They are not as crispy as it should be. You know, we transport and we've been here for a few minutes, but they're delicious. Like
Tony,
very
are you doing the breading on the product yourself, or are you?
It is our recipe.
It is your recipe?
Yes.
Okay, very nice. And the French fries are cooked on site, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, as is the.
As the fish
Oh,
as
that's
well.
gonna smell
the
great.
fish is wonderful.
That's gonna be great. You're not a fish person.
Uh,
You know what,
sorry.
neither am I, but if you fry it enough, I can eat it.
Burn it enough.
Yeah, I know. People think I'm crazy because I don't like
No.
salmon. What kind of fish is it? Is it just a cod or a pollock or what?
Yeah, I
Pacific
have another
salt.
friend like that,
Salt?
however.
Yes.
Very
Swipe.
nice.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else? I want to taste
Oh,
the fish too.
The fish is so mild. Can I ask what kind of fish you use?
Saltfish.
Saltfish.
Pacific,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
It is very good.
Swipe, yes.
It's a nice bread. Wow.
Thank you.
Taste this.
We
Well,
also
I'm
have
gonna
a,
make a motion that now that we're in summer, that we go with these new items for your menu.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
that's a motion. Do I have a second?
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Okay, discussion?
I just noticed something, the
Yes.
soup wasn't listed on here. Is it on the original? Okay, good.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's good. So it's
How
all,
much
it's all, in-
how much are these? Sorry,
That's all right.
I meant to
Fish
ask
and
that.
chip is only $8, and the soup is $5.
Oh,
okay.
Very good, Tony.
Thank you.
my.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
It carries, and thank you for coming by.
Well, thank you
I know
very
you have a
much.
lot of things to cook over there, so we won't take a lot of your time. Thank you for this
Thanks for
delicious
dinner.
soup.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Very nice.
Perfect.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Right. Okay.
Oh, it is.
She just walks in and she gets fish and chips and
right.
melon soup.
Yeah.
It's a balanced, all the food groups, right?
Oh,
The next prospective vendor is called Fairy Tale Beginnings. It's Nicole Gardner, Arts and Crafts. Nicole is a current vendor, and she wants to change her category to become a downtown merchant. Well, we love you either way, so
Yeah.
come talk to us.
oh my gosh. Welcome.
So yes, I just opened a new storefront downtown, so I'd like to change it from being a regular vendor to storefront, and hopefully be right in front of the store eventually.
Where is your store? Tell us.
224 North Palm Canyon Drive.
Okay, close to.
It's
Project.
Oh, you
kind of. It's right
Oh, you're across.
across the street from Blaze Pizza.
Oh, okay.
So it's right there.
Perfect.
Oh, the right,
Yeah.
my block.
Yeah. So
Great. How exciting.
very excited about that.
Just because she's changing her category.
Oh, okay.
This category will allow her to also sell items that she does not hand make. So
Correct.
we want to make sure that the board is aware
I see.
of the change in her status.
Perfect. Right. Are you going to be bringing down any other products onto the street?
You know, I was just gonna do handmade on the street, but just
See
in
what
case,
works. Give it a try. See
So
what
maybe,
works.
so I did bring down some items that I don't make, that, or some I actually do make, but you
That's fine.
didn't let me do it last time, so. So I'm doing some boy suspenders.
You make the suspenders.
I don't make
She doesn't have to.
Right.
these ones. I don't
Right.
make.
Right.
Yeah. Tell us the ones that you
cute.
do.
Yeah. Sorry.
Better.
It's much better.
And I do make little hats too,
Oh,
Oh, they're cute.
little boys' hats, and I put all different sayings on them and stuff, and customize those as well.
darling.
It's a lot of boy items I'm trying to get into
Oh.
because I do mostly girls.
Oh, that's
But
really cute.
Little vintage suits and stuff for little boys.
That's cute stuff. Kids' clothes are expensive too.
And then my necklaces that I make.
Wow.
And so I
Darling,
make
too.
these in all different colors and all kinds of stuff to
Uh-huh.
match the outfits and such. And then little rompers.
Oh,
Little rompers and dresses and
Nice.
stuff.
It's pretty. Great.
So I do the solids, and then I don't make the rompers, but I do design the multicolored ones, and then I have them made.
They're very beautiful.
can I ask price range what something like that is?
These are 16.
They're 16?
Yes. Yeah, these are 16.
Darling.
Good. Good. You're going to do well down there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm hoping so.
I know. Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the vendor's new
Category.
classification.
Yes.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay, discussion?
I just want to welcome you to downtown, so I have
Yeah.
a business on the same block.
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect.
right.
What business
She's
do
your
you
new
have?
neighbor. She has good coffee, too.
Oh, Crystal Fantasy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Come on by.
Trying not to promote it.
Yeah, we're not
I don't know what
promoting.
else to do. I realized I was wearing a shirt when I got
Oh,
here.
is that why you
Oh,
were
yeah.
that one back there?
I couldn't figure out whether you were redecorating or what. That's, you're fine. All in favor?
Aye.
It carries.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank
by.
you.
Congratulations.
We
How
love-
exciting for
We
you.
love to see that. I think that's one of the things that really makes us all happy is
You
when
bet.
somebody that was a VillageFest vendor ends up opening up a store
Oh,
downtown,
my God, yes.
right? I mean, I think that
Absolutely.
excites all of us here. and
Yeah, that shows
that's right.
growth.
And you'll be open all summer, of course. Yeah, great.
That's even better.
Well, we'll see you in your new store and on
Yeah.
the street.
See everybody.
Okay, thank
great,
you.
Di.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Sure.
thank you.
Where's Marlene? Marlene, hi Marlene. Footsie, Marlene Bradley is a current vendor, and she wants to add harem romper wraps. I don't know what harem romper wraps are, but I don't know that I should
Hello.
be expected to know what they are.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wearing one.
Oh, my
'cause
goodness.
It's like,
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
going to add this for summer. One of my friends gave me a sample from Africa, and it was pretty, but I thought, you know what? Let me just do it with jersey. She loved it. She bought me 4, so I was like, oh my goodness, I guess this is the product for the season.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, take the mic, honey. Take the mic off so you can talk in, please. Yeah.
So this jersey and the wraps is like 85 inches in length, and you can wrap them in different styles.
Oh,
So it's
that's seven-
what I'm
that's 7
wearing.
feet.
It's a pant. It's called a harem. Perfect for yoga. Even I'm planning to do like unisex, so you can make it as a pants too. Just tie it on your waist
Did you,
and go to yoga.
did you do
Yeah, I
the-
did this. So
You did that yourself?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
there's like probably
Oh.
like 3 different ways on how to
I
wrap
like
them.
that she has a
Yeah.
photo of the
Yeah, there's an opening here in the back. So there's an opening in the back, so you can use it as a V. Instead of just wrapping it here, you can just make like a V-neck.
Honey, what country has this kind of?
Well, they usually use them in the like Valley, India, but they have them in different styles.
I see.
This one is from Africa, but I changed the fabrics.
Yeah,
What's going on?
great. And you do all this sewing?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I manufactured them.
I do too.
Okay.
So-
Any questions for our vendor? Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept this vendor.
Thank you.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we will see you with your new product on the street. Okay.
Pain's all gone. Steve Graham.
Ooh,
Hi, Steve Graham.
like that.
Steve is also, he's a current vendor, and he's going to be adding palm massagers.
I'm here to see if I can add a palm massager as a free gift.
Oh,
If you
I
buy 2 or more bottles of our product, and you get a little palm massager. So you massage, this is a therapeutic massage oil, and then you roll this around after you massage it in your hip, your thighs, your calf, your feet. And we'll sell them in a little gift bag.
So the palm massager is free, but people are
Buy 2 or
buying.
more bottles, you get a free
Yeah.
palm massager.
Okay, pass them around so
Yeah.
we can just see what you're.
It's a
talking
good
about.
solution
Yeah, it's very good.
What do you mean?
to selling them, those
Sell-
without-
with.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh,
like
I
absolutely.
bought one of
Yeah.
them, and they are good.
Yeah.
My gosh.
If you have a shoulder, you just spray the oil on, massage it in, and then you work the oil in.
Well, yes.
Honestly, though, it's better if you have somebody else to do it for you.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
well,
does feel better,
yeah.
Just want to mention.
Well, some of you are married.
Yeah, hopefully. I wonder if it's good for pets.
Yes, a
I was
lot of
thinking,
people
you know,
with
as a
dogs
relaxing-
and horses, they
Yeah.
rub it on their thighs.
Well, I don't have a
mean,
horse,
and
but-
their hips.
Yeah. Very good. Bring me up to speed
These are
on your
great.
product.
It's a polybractean, a Galabius eucalyptus, aloe vera, jojoba, and grapeseed.
Okay.
It's called an aromatherapeutic massage oil. The smell alone has a therapeutic benefit. It's good for relaxation. I don't know if you guys ever want to.
Yeah, I love to smell it.
Can I just ask you, because we are going to be reviewing some other products as well and having more discussion about it. So at your booth, does it say anything about the fact that the FDA?
Yes, it is. It's on the
Okay.
bottle. It's
Thank
been
you.
like that since I've been selling it.
Thank you.
I've had problems. I've dealt with the FDA before on wording and content on what you can say and what you can't say. So we're pretty legit right now with the FDA. I am working on a CBD blend. I notice I got a lot of competition down there right now. I have 3 booths that way and 3 booths that way. So every time they come up to my booth, oh, I can't try it. I got marijuana oil on me. So it's becoming real competitive there right now. But it's still
we wanna
good.
hear.
What's other agenda?
Here's what we
How
want
long
to
have you been a vendor? A long time,
I would
right?
say years. I can't remember.
Do you
Yeah,
make
a lot
the
of
massage rings?
7 years, 7 or 6 years.
Yeah.
Do you make
I've
them?
been a vendor with pottery too, so I've been in and out of the
He
street fair.
doesn't make the massage things, but the idea is it's
Pardon me?
similar
When,
to,
what, how long?
yeah, it's a giveaway like
6
the
years?
guy with
6
the,
years.
Yeah,
with the
as long as he's
shaving
not selling them, I don't
brushes.
have a problem with it. I think it's a very nice connection.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. Any other questions anybody have? All right.
I love it. I'll make a motion that we add this to your booth.
Thank you.
Okay, and second? Who's going to second?
I'll second it.
Okay, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
It carries unanimously. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Make sure he gets all his
Yeah,
tchotchkes
we'll
back.
see you on the street with your massagers.
Right,
Perfect.
all right. No.
We
We want
Can't
it,
have
but we
gifts, but
can't.
thank you.
We can't
We'll buy
take
it.
it. We'll buy it. Okay. Okay, commercial vendor is next, Desert Plastic Surgery Centers. Is Andrea here? No. Okay, so we're not gonna deal with that. 5F, Hetty's Boutique is Hal Lewis. Mr. Lewis is a downtown merchant. He has lozenges, Recover Balm, CBD pet wellness treats, and dropper,
Welcome.
Dead Sea soak, tinctures, hemp beverage, honey sticks, and tie-dye shirts.
I'll let you go ahead. So I'm Derek, I'm Hal's business partner. This is Hal, and then Savannah
Hal.
came with us because she put together most of our packet in case you guys have any questions. So we're a new downtown merchant. We opened up at 333 North Palm Canyon back in November. Now that we've got our store situated, we're ready to go ahead and start setting up at the street fair, the VillageFest, so we can go ahead and have a booth to promote our further products and our business and help the VillageFest be more of a success. So what we've done is we've brought down a combination of products of what we sell in our store, and then some of the products are also products that we also, Hal and I, manufacture through another business that we own called Leaf of Life Wellness. In fact, our purpose for opening our store was partly to highlight our Leaf of Life Wellness products in our store, and then everything else that we've brought in was to round out the boutique and make it more of a gallery with all the stuff that we have.
Okay.
All right, well, you're a downtown merchant, so you can do whatever you want.
Well, we still would like to ask for permission and approval before we...
Very
Of course,
nice.
and we have to.
Asking forgiveness never works, as my wife taught me.
Yes.
It worked before I
Tell me what you're
retired.
across from, so I know where 333 is.
We are, yeah, we're almost across from 360 North. We're a little bit
draft.
closer to Amato than
Oh, okay.
360 North.
Okay.
I guess right across from the street from us is a beverage shop, smoke shop that's never open,
Where a bar used to be, so the giant murals of the women.
with the big snakes
Yes,
over them. We're
yes.
directly across the street
Oh,
from them.
okay,
In fact,
okay.
I hate competing with their painting on an empty building. Everyone walks by and looks
Yeah,
at their painting when I want them to look at
Okay.
our shop.
Can I just state something real
Yeah,
quick?
go ahead.
I was a little bit late because I was on the phone with the health department
Yes.
to talk about this particular
Yeah, yeah.
topic. And I was, just before the conversation goes too far, I was advised that anything that is ingestible does need to go through the health department.
Okay.
So we will need to, we did not have them go through that process because we
Okay.
weren't quite there yet. So any of the waters, lozenges, anything of that nature will need to go, honey
That's
sticks
good.
will need to go through the health
As,
department.
as a way of background, we've gotten conflicting information from Riverside County Health about whether or not CBD products that are ingested have to be approved by the health department. Some said yes, some said no, some said that. Anyway, that's the answer. So we can approve pending, we can approve, if the board wants to approve these products pending approval of the Riverside County Health Department for the ingested products, right? For the edibles or droppables, or what do you have there that goes?
Well, so for what we have here,
Including the beverage.
here I have topical products.
Okay.
So this is a Dead Sea salt
Yeah,
soap,
they're not-
massage, balm. These would be ingestible products that we have here.
Right, and how many of these have CBD in them?
All of this has CBD. No, excuse me. The lozenges here do not have CBD in them.
Okay.
These are terpene lozenges.
Okay.
Can you pass them so we can
Okay,
see
and
just one?
you create these yourself?
Yes,
You
Leaf of
mix
Life-
the products yourself?
This is
Okay.
the only one of the CBD products that we do not actually mix ourselves.
Right,
This is
okay.
one of the ones that we carry in our store.
Okay.
The rest of that one, this one, these, the ones that she's passing around are all products that we actually manufacture ourselves.
Okay, do it again. You're on television.
Yes, that's our Dead Sea Salt Soak with organic lavender and CBD.
We actually import the salt from the Dead Sea, organic lavender and CBD, which is imported legally into the country.
Any more questions or comments? Somebody want to make a motion? Then everybody else.
I don't have a problem with the sea salt, but I think until we go through our items that you discuss, I don't have a problem with any of their the T-shirts, as long as they don't have cannabis on them. Good enough. Good enough. What's in the water?
It's a CBD water.
Okay.
CoQ10, vitamin B12, and CBD.
Yeah. Anything until we go through our
Yeah.
items, I think I have no problems with those. Nothing ingestible.
Okay, does somebody want to make a motion?
What she said.
What's your motion?
I make a motion that we accept the sea salt and items that are non-edible or non-digestive, and pending further investigation.
Okay,
Is that it, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Do I have a second?
Me?
Okay, discussion.
Yeah, it's a discussion really directed this way. We're just
Right.
trying to figure this all out.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
just
And
hang in
make
there
sure
while
that we have everything right. You know, there's so many ordinances, and as you probably know, there's a lot of conflicting ordinances and a lot of questions, and we're just trying to figure it all out. And I'm really glad that you're downtown. I'm downtown too. I think I might have met all of
I've been in your shop a dozen
actually.
times.
Yeah,
You've just
yeah.
never been there.
So we're just trying to figure it all out and make sure that we're doing the right thing. And so thank you for your patience with it. I appreciate that.
I'd like to volunteer my services. Some of you know me, some of you don't. I've actually been in the sector, cannabis and health and wellness center since 1978, fighting for patients' rights. We're opening up a wellness center in West Hollywood right now for HIV, PTSD for veterans. So we do a lot of work out there. If the board needs any help at all with anything,
Thank you very
I work
much.
with the
That's
BCC,
very
Bureau of
nice.
Cannabis Control also. So
Okay.
however I can be a service.
Getting back to
Thank
this
you.
issue, there was a motion that we approve some, but not all of those items. Before I call the question, I want to know, do we have any similar items like that on the street?
Bath salt?
No, I don't mean like,
No.
I mean the
lozenges. for
the
instance.
lozenges and the edibles.
The lozenges the lozenges are only terpenes.
Okay,
They
so-
do not have CBD.
No, so
in
so
them.
is that
So there-
outside
I'm not
this
worried about
question?
that.
Right,
Yeah.
then do we have any other edibles with CBD on the street right now?
Do we have any?
Well,
I can
we
answer
do,
that for you.
But the thing
Yes.
is, according to this report here, that I'm guessing I'm not the only person that has it in front of them, right? There is discussion on here as to whether or not the people that were already there might possibly be grandfathered in,
Right.
pending our discussion that is actually at the end of this meeting. So to me, that it was hard to figure, first of all, because you're merchants, I want to give you the best shape humanly possible, but also just because we're just going to be having this conversation later on in this same meeting, so it was almost like putting the cart before the horse to have them come first before we go
Well,
over
the
this.
cart is already on the street.
Yeah,
And that's what I'm getting at. If we have similar products to theirs on the street, I can see no reason why I would preclude them from selling those items on the street. So I'm asking staff, do we have similar items?
We do have edible items on.
Okay, we have edible items on the street. So, and tinctures and, okay.
well, we have a
Let's,
motion in a second,
let's
maybe we
have,
should take a
Ron-
vote.
Let's take a vote on this first.
Let's have Ron,
Okay,
see if he has
Ron,
something to say.
Chair King, former Chair King just appeared, so, Ron, there's a motion on the, let me give you some back, this is a downtown merchant. There's a motion on the floor to approve their products. Their products are a combination of edibles and non-edibles both containing CBD. Cannabinoids. I cannot say that word, I don't know what's wrong with me. And Julie just made a motion that we approve some of the items, but not all of the items, and the items that we are not going to approve, if her motion passes, are the edibles. My question, as you were walking into staff, was, do we have edibles on the street right now? The answer is yes. So, does anybody have anything else to add?
I have just a question about the
Yes.
edibles. Are they manufactured and, are they manufactured, made?
They're a downtown merchant.
They're a downtown merchant, so in this case, they
their
don't.
edibles are
Yeah,
just a product that.
I don't
Well,
know whether
it's
they
both
make
that
them.
we're a downtown merchant and some of them are products that
Right.
we make ourselves, so.
Okay, so it's a
both
combination
falls
of
into
both.
categories.
So the motion on the floor is to approve their non-edibles, but not their edibles.
Until we have this
Well,
discussion
this
at
is,
the end
this,
of the
and I
meeting,
have
it
to
could
apologize
change.
to my other two committee people. I started working on this weekend, and it derives from what we originally started to do. This is merely a draft. We have a.
This is from you? I thought this was from like the city attorney. No. Okay.
Thank you.
Some of it's from the city attorney.
Yeah,
Some-
okay.
But I want to get back to this and treat this separately. I don't want to get into this because we may never approve this. What I'm saying right now is we have edibles on the street. This is a downtown merchant who wants to sell edibles on the street. There is a motion on the floor to approve all of their products with the exception of the edibles.
And didn't Jasmine just come forward and say that the health department said no?
No,
I'm sorry, yes, you did.
The health
Let me
department
finish.
has to review.
the health department has to review it.
Right.
So the motion on the floor, if it is accepted, is to exclude these edibles.
Correct.
Okay, so
And I believe it was
Temporarily.
pending further investigation.
Right.
So you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the investigation was we need to have the health department review it.
Right.
Correct.
And I was going to make a motion, a friendly suggestion, that we approve all of these pending health department approval.
And a second on the floor, Chairman.
Okay, call the question. I'll call the question. All in favor?
Of Julie's motion?
Of Julie's motion.
Repeat your motion?
Yeah,
Oh, man.
we'll help you.
That we accept everything that's not edible, the bath salts and the cream, oh, I think that was a cream over there.
Lozenges, the
Lozenges.
T-shirts.
And everything that is ingestible, we're going to wait pending further investigation.
To clarify, I'm sorry, that's ingestibles that include CBD.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
not
of
the- not
course.
the
Of course.
terpenes. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, right, oh,
Those are
yeah,
okay.
they're
Just wanted to
fine, they're
clarify,
fine.
just because you said everything ingestible, so I wanted to
I
clarify.
have one question in the discussion process. They do have products that that are related to marijuana, recreational or medical marijuana paraphernalia. Are we allowing that to come out?
They're
You
commercial.
cannot sell pipes. They can't sell pipes in the eyesight of anybody under the age of whatever
Right,
it is.
so
I
that
don't know.
they can't.
We have no
Okay.
intention of bringing pipes or
Okay.
any
Yeah.
sort
Anything
of
But you
with-
have some cool
paraphernalia.
artwork.
Anything with the marijuana leaf?
Right.
on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
a cool little shop.
So the motion is on the floor to approve everything but the edibles.
Correct.
That's a better-
Pending
Okay.
further
Right,
investigation.
is that totally clear to
Is it-
everybody?
is
Is
that
that,
what-
I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Okay, I'll second that.
And seconded, okay.
That's cleaner.
Any further discussion?
Heck, no.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
Okay, it doesn't carry. I'm going to make a motion that we approve all of those products pending approval by the Riverside County Department of Health for those products that are considered ingestibles.
Okay.
And then our other vendors
I'll
that
second.
have.
What?
I'll second it.
Okay, second discussion. What were you going to
was
say? I
just
didn't mean to
gonna
cut
say
you
our-
off.
Yeah, our other vendors that need, they'll be notified that they have to go through the health
Correct.
department.
Correct.
Yes.
So when
This is
that's
new.
all settled
Right.
and
We'll
done.
deal with
Vendors
that.
that are currently selling
Yeah.
anything that is ingestible on the street
Have to go back
will
to-
go back to the health department.
Yeah.
They will receive notification on Thursday.
Okay,
Very
so,
good.
Will it come back to us again, or will it go to staff? How will this
Well,
work?
wait a minute.
This particular
If it
category?
if the motion passes,
oh,
well,
I'm
we're in
sorry.
discussion.
I thought you were
right?
talking about all the vendors.
No, how will
So
this?
what I'm taking from the conversation is that if we approve this vendor and all of their products currently, once the health department does approve it, staff will receive that information from the health department and then allow them to sell their ingestible items with CBD.
Okay, is that okay with everybody if this passes? Oh, I think it just passed, didn't it?
No, you still need a vote. We have a first and a second.
First and a second.
A first
We're
and
in
a second to
discussion.
approve all the items, and pending the health department review of anything ingestible with CBD, we will allow them to start selling that on the street, once the health department has approved it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, it's the same thing when Julie said it and Jasmine. Is it any ingestibles, or are we only talking about ingestibles with CBD oil? Because there's lots of ingestibles, things that are eaten. What are we talking about?
So the lozenges that they have do not have CBD, but that is ingestible. So that is something that they can sell without health department approval. The items with CBD will need to go back to the health department.
So anything that is cooked, prepared, cookies, that's ingestible.
Correct.
Correct.
And that would be approved by a health department.
Have to be approved before they could sell it, yeah.
Okay, but what
Yeah,
I'm saying is,
yeah.
what's the difference between a lozenge, a cookie, and CBD oil? Everything is ingested.
The
When
the
is a food
lozenges are
item?
made by, I mean, I
Are-
don't mean
are-
to assume,
I mean, the
but
word
I'm going to
ingestible
assume it's
means
made by a
you're eating
company that is already having to go to the health
Can I
department.
pitch in on that?
It-
Our lozenges are actually made in a certified kitchen here in California, up in Emeryville, Fort
Yeah,
Knox.
I heard of those before, so I figured those are probably already made in a commercial setting. That was, but you're right in saying that, because
Ingestible
really.
is ingestible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
the-
Regardless
I
of the
think,
oil.
yeah, the wording, I'm hearing wording 3 different ways.
Yeah.
And some things is just CBD, some things is just food. And I want to make sure that we're clear in what we're saying, that it's anything that is eaten by humans or animals.
Has to go through
has to
health
be
department.
by health department, okay.
Right,
Thank you.
does everybody concur, we have consensus on that?
Well, the food on the street
Well, that's
does
a
go
perfect,
through,
right,
and we get certification for it.
right, where we were running into trouble.
Right. The
is that-
problem that I was seeing before really was just that we were treating CBD in an exclusive category, that those ingestibles were not requiring any sort of approval from the health department, as opposed to, like, if you wanna bake a chocolate chip cookie and sell it there, if you have olive oil and you're selling it there, or whatever those things are, those things all had to go through the health department.
Right.
But somehow now we were allowing one particular category to go through with, that would be ingested, but not, making sure that somebody doesn't have their cats walking along their kitchen counter, and,
Absolutely.
that-
I totally understand that.
Right.
So
Yeah, I'm completely agreeing with you.
Right,
Yeah.
and I think that's where we kind of got off track,
Yeah.
because what we were hearing, or what was inferred, was that the county would not intervene with somebody selling CBD products, whether they were cookies or gummy bears or whatever. So what we're hearing now as clarification is that they will, and they are. We will have to do our homework, but for right now, the motion on the floor is to approve these things pending approval of the ingested products. Any more discussion?
I do have a question.
Sure.
Like the lozenges, they're made somewhere else, correct? They're not made in your kitchen?
No,
or-
right, no.
okay.
It's a kitchen that we contract with in
Right,
Emeryville.
right.
Right.
So you're buying it basically wholesale then, from them?
It's our recipe.
It's
Your
our
recipe,
recipe
but-
that we're contracting to have made,
Okay.
that no one else can purchase.
That's an interesting conundrum.
Okay, so that means that health department would have to look at that particular kitchen then, correct?
No.
No, they're not making it. They're buying it.
Right.
They're not cooking it.
It's
They're
their
not.
recipe,
They're,
but
it's
they're
their
not doing
recipe, but it's being done by
Right,
some
but
other.
they're buying it wholesale.
They're
from-
buying it wholesale
from a
from
third party,
somewhere.
basically, okay.
Right.
So the health department doesn't have to get involved with that?
No.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
I would assume not. What do you
No,
have
I
a
was just listening.
perplexed?
I was listening.
Oh, keep listening. Okay.
Listening.
All right. Anything else?
So does that have to come with receipts, like everything else, or it doesn't have to because they don't make it? I'm just trying to
They
figure
have
it
a
all out, because
store.
it changes
They have a
every week.
store. This is a little
Okay.
different
Yeah,
because they're
okay.
downtown.
They're
Right.
downtown
Gotcha.
merchant.
Oh, okay.
Right.
But
Okay.
yes, if they
That's
were not a
separate.
downtown merchant, yes, they would
Okay.
need to
We
supply
need to get all the
receipts.
receipts and the labeling.
But because they're
Okay.
not,
Sorry,
it's
I
not
keep
required.
going back and forth.
I know, it's
between the
hard.
two. I'm
This
sorry.
That's okay.
this
It's
vendor
hard
came
so
just to
much.
actually
is-
complicate
Because
the
it's new.
CBD topic even
Right,
more.
and bear with us.
Apparently need some CBD to take over.
This is a learning experience for us.
Everywhere we go, we run
This is a
into
learning,
stuff.
Yeah.
there's so much to learn
Yeah,
on
we're
this.
trying to, make everything just fit the same way any other category would fit.
And-
Well, no, and I
not-
think she clarified it
Right.
greatly, that everything that gets edible should be going through.
Yeah, that
whether
part
it's
we
got
got.
CBD
And that's-
or
that's
anything.
new information.
I completely agree with that.
Okay.
I just have one real quick
Yes,
comment. I visited their store twice, two different times. They were very knowledgeable, their associates were very knowledgeable. And I felt very comfortable in the store, so.
Great.
Well, good. I think you should go back and buy some stuff there.
Thank you, we appreciate that comment.
That's very nice. That's great to hear. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm gonna go with this one.
Okay.
If it all gets approved by the health department, I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, okay, so it's approved. Please don't put any of that out until you get the health department approval.
If I could
and
just ask for a
it
little bit
goes
of
to-
guidance on how we go through that process.
Talk to Faith.
Thank you.
They know people.
Thank you, they know people. They've got people.
Nice to see you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
Is that what the room was? Yeah. Because I didn't go into that. And then you have that other room that's sort of a psychedelic thing. It was kind of interesting.
He's gonna curate it, and we have all the antique pieces from the 1800s.
Ooh.
It's gorgeous in there.
At the
They're
Lava
black light
Center.
installation to remind us all the 60s.
We're next to Di Olivio's restaurant.
The Amato Center.
Di Olivio's, the Italian restaurant, we're right next
Look
door.
down a couple stairs right there.
Oh, okay.
You're
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming by,
Thanks
appreciate
for
it.
coming.
For your
Okay.
patience with us.
Right. Okay, thank you, everybody, for bearing with us on this. Unfinished business is none. New business is none. Reports and requests. Is there anybody from the public? I don't see anybody. Well, he's from the public, but
Hi, public.
he's a good listener. Right. And I'm going to do board comments next. Can I start with you, Tina? Did you have any board comments? Oh. Thank you.
I'll refrain from later.
Oh, my God.
Thanks for coming to the picnic. Was this the last, the
Oh.
meeting after the picnic?
That was the last
Okay,
meeting,
never
but you can
mind.
say it again.
Okay,
Okay.
who knows? I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Okay. I don't have any comments.
Nor do I.
Nor do I.
None.
Okay, wow.
Fastest meeting in history.
Okay.
No, I was surprised you guys were the last vendor.
Okay, subcommittee reports, and the first one is topicals. And first of all, before we start, I want to apologize to you and to you. Let me tell you what happened. At our last meeting, might have been the one before that, we talked about our task force and what we created. And that was supposed to have gone to everybody. It was my understanding that it didn't go to everybody. Anyway, on my own, not as part of our committee, I took all that stuff, because there was a lot of material there that Joy brought out and Mar brought out. And I turned it into a very, it looks finished, but it's far from it, and it's got the percentage wrong and everything, a policy about CBDs. And my premise in sharing this with you is that I don't think that the am I saying it right?
Cannabinoids.
Cannabinoids are either an art or a craft. There's something new. There's something different. There's something that whether you eat it or put it on your hand or inhale it or take it on a gummy bear, it's something that affects your brain. It affects what do you call those resistors or something, number one and number two? Receptors. Obviously, I'm not a scientist. So to me, it really is irrelevant how it gets into your system. I don't care if you step on it. It winds up in your brain. And there is evidence out there, which may or may not be valid, that it works for some people with certain problems. And far be it for me to render an opinion on whether that stuff works or not. I only know what I hear from other people and what I see. So having said all that, I took all of the stuff that we had, and I tried to summarize it and boil it down, and probably I may have boiled it down too much, but my goal is for us, I don't want to put it off for a new board, to create, or at least consider creating a new category because it really doesn't fall in arts and crafts, it doesn't fall in farmer's market.
It should fall in arts and crafts, though, just like any other lotion and cream that we're selling. I don't understand why it should be different at all. And why would we handle it? I mean, that to me is the whole thing, is we should just treat it the same way we would any lotion that's coming before us, or candle maker, you know, any of those sort of things.
Well, let me tell you why. Let me tell you where I'm coming from. And again, this is just my opinion. This is not my task force's opinion. It's different because it's all centered around a product called CBD. And that product is strictly regulated by the state of California and also by the city of Palm Springs. And because of that, it really doesn't matter whether it's 75% handmade or 80% handmade, as long as, again, my opinion, the formulator of that product is the guy or the lady in that booth that is selling it. They can't be a distributor. They can't take it out of the big jar and put it in the little jars. They have to formulate it. Now, that formulated could be adding CBD to a cream. It could be adding CBD to that water bottle. It could be creating a whole new cream. It could be creating a cookie. It doesn't matter to me. The big difference between that and the arts and crafts is the effect that it has on the human body, or anybody, or an animal's body for that matter. And that's why I'm envisioning it as a separate category. Because if we keep it in the same category, we're going to be continuing to have the same acrimonious discussions. And frankly, I'm tired of it. None of us is getting paid to do this. And I think we as board members have to just take the leap and make a decision. It may be right, it may be not right, but I think we need to follow the facts. If it turns out that we have every Tom, Dick, and Harry on that street selling these things, maybe the market forces will take care of it, maybe it won't. But we cross that bridge when we come to it. What I do not envision is for us to get ahead of the city and start banning things because we want to ban them, because we think there's going to be too much, or because we think that they're like everything else, because I don't think they are.
Well, don't we have category limits for jewelry and everything else? Why are you making, first of all, I just want to tell you, I'm offended that after we had our subcommittee meeting and we came up with a document, that you are now at this meeting, during the meeting, the first time I'm seeing this, that you are presenting me with a brand new one that has all sorts of different things in it from what we decided as a subcommittee. I find it offensive.
Okay, and I can understand where you're coming from. You should have received, everybody, well, you have it because you helped write it. Everybody should have received the original.
I did not.
I did.
If you did not, then I don't even want to bring this up at this meeting, because you need to see the original.
I just want to say something. I'd like to postpone this and read it because I haven't read it yet. But I do want to tell you, CBD is a snake oil and very misleading to people that don't know anything about it and do not want to just, they want to get out there and sell it, put it in a jar. 0.3% does nothing for your body. Nothing. And for them to sell it at $60, $70, $80 out there is insulting to our dispensaries that sell this, that have to pay high taxes on this, that know and have to be educated on this. I find it that part offensive, that 3% doesn't do a thing for anybody.
I hear you, and maybe the city of Palm Springs should ban them, but they haven't. So as far as I'm concerned, as a citizen, as a potential user, if I can buy it in a brick and mortar CBD oil store like those folks that were just here, who am I to say that we should restrain trade at VillageFest? And I take that with a grain of salt, because I agree with you. But at the same time, I'm not the warden and I'm not the health inspector.
I think that we should get more clarification. I think we need to get FDA rules still and see what's going on with the FDA issues. I think this whole thing really needs to be postponed until we feel more comfortable about talking about it.
And can I just want to say, I'm not trying to ban anything here. I'm just trying to have this product fit in with the same way that we do every single other thing that we do. not having special rules for or against it. I'm just trying to make this meld in somehow, and why can't it and why shouldn't it be handled the same way that we handle everything else? That was why I came out against the tinctures and such, is just because we don't allow other things to be eaten without some health department. So great, I'm very happy to find out
that's great.
about that. But just like you would have any other lotion, or the guy here with the eucalyptus today, you know, he has to do a certain amount of stuff with his own formulation in order to sell that eucalyptus. I don't think it should have its own category. Because I think that also that would really encourage a proliferation of the booths out there. But also just because I think that it does fit within the arts and crafts of being a body care product, just like other things. So let's just treat it the same way we treat the other things. If they want to handcraft a product and bring it, just like anybody else that we allow to bring lotions, it should be under the same thing. I mean, here it just says if you stir it, then that would be enough to consider it. To, you know,
That was my words at 2 o'clock in the morning. You can take it off.
So I don't know, because I haven't really read this, but
And I have to
I'm
agree
just-
with you, Joy.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make it
That's the whole
fit.
essence of VillageFest. It's a arts and craft, you know, loving hands made products and things like that. And that's what's so special about VillageFest. I do think maybe having it in a separate category, though, could be to our advantage, because we do have to have some control of the CBD ingredient that they have to show us. When we have a vendor that's selling CBD products, they have to show us their receipts of purchase and their test results. And think that's unique. That ingredient, CBD, is so unique to any of the other products like the eucalyptus oil. Their uniqueness is the eucalyptus oil, but it's not regulated, it's not, there's no controversy about it through the government or the state or anyone. So because of the CBD oil is right now a new drug, according to the FDA, we should have a couple of nuances that are within that CBD oil byproduct. So maybe we should have it as a separate one, and maybe we should say every 6 months you have to show us your new receipts for purchases and testing, because the CBD oil is in such great demand that they're probably selling out fairly quickly. The one vendor we saw, the last one we approved with CBD Works, their invoices were from November of 2017. So there was a time frame when they first bought it to the second time till they came to us. So I'm sure they had another batch that they purchased. They had to if they're producing that much. So maybe we have it under a separate category, and we have certain things. Maybe we need a virtual tour video of their production facilities to see it is. I don't have a problem if their business is growing and they have to hire another 5 people. They're still hand making it, but we can visually see that they're doing it, and that maybe the craftsman has to be overseeing the production, which would be a little bit different from the craftsman 75% handmade, because the facility or the vendor is really hand making all the products.
And I would also like to see them put into one section. Let them all be in one section together so you can keep a better eye as members. We can go and check it out better. Not only that, and limitation. We have, I don't know how many jewelers. We don't want to see any more jewelers right now, or however it goes. Same thing with CBD, the same thing with bath soaps or anything else. There needs to be a limitation, otherwise you're going to outshop all the other vendors on the street with this product.
I only have one more thing that I do want to say. If we in fact make CBD into a separate category, then I just feel in my heart that I would have to recuse myself further in any future discussions of it due to conflict. I mean, I'm already feeling conflicted in my gut right now. Honestly, it doesn't feel good. But if we handle it like we handle everything else, then I don't feel that way. But if we're going to separate this particular item, then I feel it wouldn't be appropriate for me to comment any further on this, just because it just doesn't feel right to me in my heart.
I should just
yeah.
throwing it out there, because
Yeah.
I think I'm so
okay.
for you saying that it's a handmade craft.
I agree with you, Joy.
Don't want to put it in, you know, a separate category where they can put 3 drops of CBD oil into a already purchased
Bottle.
container of cream or water or something. I don't think that's right. That's not the same, and that's what it has to be. I think 75% is really the rule that we use to accept CBD products.
And where I'm coming from is, I want to stop looking backwards and saying 75% or 80% or 50%, whatever percent. I want to say this is a different kind of product. It's a different concept for our city. And as long as the person who mixes that thing up or puts the drops on is at that booth, they have formulated that product. They're not buying a big bottle of it from some warehouse and scooping it into little bottles and calling it theirs. They have provided, I would think, proof that they have made it, they have bought the ingredients, and for me, because the basic ingredient is the CBD, it doesn't need a lot of ingredients. And I think once we start telling them how many ingredients they put into it, they can always get around that. Even with the dog biscuits, they can add beef broth, they can add, chicken powder, whatever. In my mind, if we put it in as a separate category, it takes away that, well, how do you know if it's 75%? How do you know that it's not 50%?
By the testing.
No, I'm not talking about the percentage of product. I'm talking about how much labor is involved with creating the product. Right now in arts and crafts, it has to be 75%. How do you measure that? How do you measure that? You can't. I can't. I know if they string beads, there's no effort. But
Adding oils is no effort.
And oils is no effort. So what I'm saying is, why are we looking at the past and saying, well, it's got to be in arts and crafts, it's got to be 75% half made, when that's really restraining trade.
Maybe
this is new.
It is.
No, anybody can put oil into a thing and make it. You're going to be flooded. The whole room will be CBD. I feel that this category needs to be put on hold. I feel that more research needs to be done. I think that you're letting anybody go with anything that they want to do at any time that they want to do it, and I think that it's not the right, you don't even know the quality of the CBD oil, you don't know where it comes from. One of us can go and look at the manufacturing kitchens if you want to go that far. You can pull a bottle and have it tested. Then what do you do when it doesn't meet the testing requirements? And it has fungus in it.
They have to.
No, what if we pull a bottle?
What do you mean if we pull a bottle?
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
Can I say one other thing? I just want to say that I did contact the city attorney's office today. I wasn't able to speak with them today, but I did send an email, and we have a little bit of conversation because I just want to make sure that what I'm doing is right.
You're doing as in?
Being part of this discussion.
Okay.
It does make me uncomfortable, I'm not going to lie. And I just want to make sure I'm still okay with it. And I really felt like as long as we kept it just as everything else, everything was fine. But if we start pulling it out of this into a separate category, then it's no longer appropriate for me.
I welcome everybody's input, especially yours and especially yours, because you're our subject matter experts on this stuff.
We are, then why do you argue with us about it?
Because I think you have an apparent conflict of interest, that's why.
I don't sell 3%, so I don't have a conflict of
So
interest.
I do agree. We do have a unique opportunity. We have two people who have a lot of education on this particular topic, and then we have other people on our board who have absolutely none, including myself. So it's been definitely an educational process. So what I heard from the group was, one, everybody needs to receive the committee's report, and then everyone has a handout of Chair Ziskin's report. So we're going to take this next 2 weeks before your next board meeting, review both of those, and then we'll come back to the board. I thought it was very informative to speak with the health department today to learn that they are now overseeing anything that is ingestible. She was very strict on the fact that if it is an actual establishment, that the state only provides permits that are for the establishment. So
say that again.
So if you have an established business,
like brick and mortar,
right? That the permit that the state provides is site specific. So
for this stuff.
Correct.
Okay.
So well, it's if anything has what is it? THC, not if it has CBD. So if it's THC, the state, it's only site specific. So if our office starts to get inquiries of anything that is more than that, then it's an easy kickback of that's something that's not we will not be allowed at this event.
Okay.
But what what I think is that we've got this abundant of information from a lot of different sources when it really needs to be consolidated down, which is a short checklist of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you do not have these items in our office, they never even make it to this board. I do agree that we do need to think about what that cap would look like. I mean, currently we have, is it 5? 5 on the street, and we have, I don't know, nearly 32 jewelry vendors. So in comparison, it doesn't seem that much. It seems like a lot right now because we've had them almost
Yes.
at every meeting. So it seems like that. So what we will also do is we'll make sure at your next board meeting, you have a breakdown of all of your vendors. And Joy, we'll try and work directly with you because you wanted some things broken down even further. So we'll get that from you, and we'll make sure you have that so that at your next board meeting, you're making some informed decisions. And it's okay for this board to make a decision to say, you know what, for the next few board meetings, we don't want to see anybody under this particular topic. We've done it in the past. That's not out of the ordinary, and that's okay. And you can continue to work through this. We do need to come to some sort of agreement so that staff can work with whatever the board decides and only bring you those vendors that have already done all the work to get it before you. So by the time it gets before you, testing is approved, labeling is approved, health department's approved. So when it gets before you, it could be just like anything else. Not like food, you can't taste it and approve it, but everything else, you could take a look at it and know that it's already been staff-wise approved. Or you can say at some point, let's not see any more of this particular vendor for a while.
That sounds good. And again,
Appreciate
I apologize to you two and to the board. This was premature because I did not realize that you didn't get the original documents that we
So
created
my apologies, I thought that was mailed out. So I will send out both items. If I have this item, I'd received it today, so I
Okay.
will send out both items tomorrow morning. So you guys have as much time as possible to read through it, generate any questions, and then we can have a conversation and ideally come to some common ground of what it looks like. And because it's not in your rules and regulations, it's just somewhat of a policy that this board is gonna govern itself by. It can evolve, it can change. You can decide, you know what, we don't like that part of this policy anymore and we're gonna remove it. If we put it into your rules and regulations, obviously everybody on this full board knows how difficult it is to get something
that's a
that
year.
far.
That's
That
a
by the
year.
time it even gets there, it could,
Especially
you guys
with
could have
this
evolved
subject.
it and changed it to
Especially
something
with
else.
this. Do you think that, well, I asked my board members, and I like your idea of asking them to test a product and maybe every 6 months, that we can come to completion on this, to fruition at our next board meeting, because I can't go on like this.
Yeah, no, I
just
agree,
can't.
I agree. It has been a very cumbersome conversation, and it's taken a lot of time at every board meeting, that I think we need to come to some common ground. And then we all just need to know that it's gonna evolve and things are changing, and 2 months from now, you may change something on that policy. But we do need to have a policy, even on a staff level, so that we don't feel like we're just throwing things at you, and we don't know if what we're providing you is correct.
Right, and one of my goals also is to kind of take some of what we're doing on this. I think we've taken too much on as far as enforcement is concerned. Enforcement to me means, does the booth have their permit and are they in the right location?
The things that are in your rules and regulations.
In the rules and regulations, not, is their kitchen inspected? Because I'm not a kitchen inspector. I could be. I could use the
I
money.
think that's part of it, having, able to make a product is it has to be approved by the health department.
By a commercial
Yeah,
kitchen.
So I'm
Right.
fine with that. I'm
Yeah,
not,
me
I'm not gonna go
too.
check the kitchen.
No, of course not.
And Joy, I have a real quick thought. If we had kept it in, under the arts and crafts, the 75% rule, but had another point saying if any handmade CBD products must include, they already need the receipt, but they must show testing of the CBD, because that's important. We require that now. So if we just have that as a note, any CBD products must have these
That's
things
in
mixed.
our draft guideline, the original one.
Yes.
Oh, on the, because I didn't see that.
And please understand, I don't mean it with any malice in what I was saying, as far as if it went to a different category. I just don't feel it would be appropriate for me to comment any longer on it. It's okay. You guys could do it without me, I'm sure. I just feel that would then, I would cross
Well,
a
I think you
line
can
there
be
that
part of the
wouldn't be
discussion, you
appropriate.
just wouldn't vote on it.
I don't think I'm allowed to even, once it crosses the line, I don't think I would be allowed to even discuss it.
It's okay to trust your gut, and it's okay to say that from this point on, I feel I'm comfortable, it's very professional, and you could just step outside, and that's absolutely okay. You
It's
have that right.
perception on-
Do you think that we can do this sometime in May, because we're all busy with the festivals coming up now? It's very hard to get to something outside of our realm. And 420.
And the film festival, Julie and I are both on
We're
a panel
speakers.
at the Cannabis Film Festival
Well,
together.
I'm hopeful that if we do our homework and you get the original thing that we created in Joy's back room, it sounds awful, that we can knock it out at a meeting. I don't think there's a lot there or here that we have to really mull over again and again and again. It's there. It's a matter of, do you agree with it or not?
What I'd like to do is take the information from these documents and a few other documents that we've received, some from the lawyer, and really just compile a one-page
It's possible.
Which would I would
Can you
like to
do
do.
that?
And
You
the
can.
hope would be that I could email it out, you could all take a look at it, and then get back to me some information, or say, you know what, this looks good for now. Let's adopt this for the next 6 months and reevaluate at that time.
Sounds good.
So then we at least have kind of a working document. And if we don't get it done at our next board meeting, then we'll postpone it to May. But I do think that from a staff level, it would be most helpful if we had some sort of working document
For
to
us
provide
too,
you.
yeah.
No, and I think that if we have that, then we can sort through and not provide you with vendors that kind of have some of it, not all of it, which causes some animosity because we're not all on the same page. So if we have that, I think it will help at our board meetings as well.
When can you not be here? So we should
Oh,
schedule.
I can be here. It's just, we're busy.
I know you're
We got
busy,
3 weeks
so.
of pure busyness.
Okay.
I don't know, what are those dates anyway?
14.
I know you guys
So the
have a
next,
lot.
the
The
next
next
meeting
3
here would be
Fridays.
when? So today is, I don't even know what, 10th, so it would be the 24th? And
That's
that's-
Stagecoach.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
involved
So we
in
just,
stage?
yeah, we
Well,
just,
we're busy.
yeah.
Busy?
People.
Okay.
I mean,
So we'll do our best. If it doesn't work out, where we don't get it approved at the next board meeting, what I'd like to do is really just postpone the
Yeah.
whole conversation to May, so that we don't have a conversation in April, and then again have a conversation in May. So
Yeah, I think
what
we
can do
all
in
need to
between-
participate in
I'm more
it.
confused today
I agree.
than I was 2 weeks ago.
I'm
Yes.
not.
It's just, it's a wealth of information.
Well,
And it changes too.
The health,
Yeah.
right, the
The
health
health
department through
department.
me.
That was.
When I
yeah.
talked to her
That's a
today,
biggie.
she's like, oh, we made this change and we're working towards this and this is gonna be different in probably 4 to 5 months. So everybody's kind of evolving.
and the state just changed some items too, so this is
no.
until July, to be honest with you. Until July comes, there are gonna be changes every week, every 3 weeks. My feeling is that everything will be stabilized in July, because the state is making it stable
She wants
on
it.
all
She wants it.
counts. And I think to make a ruling before July even happens, right, Joy? July is our deadline for everything, that I think it's something that should be looked at, because
Okay.
it can change.
Okay.
But you did a great job
I
of
think
putting
it
that
has to be done-
together.
I think it has to be done by the end of June. Because
do-
we'll
I
have
do
2 new
too.
board members starting in July. So
Yeah,
think
I
it
do
needs to be
too.
done
I don't
now
want to
and set
dump
the
this on
policy.
new people if we can.
Yeah.
We
You're
just
gonna
have to, we just have to
educate
go
them.
into it knowing that it is a policy that will be temporary and that it will evolve and that we,
Yes,
just like we said, we want to, possibly see every 6 months, new receipts for the particular vendors. Maybe every 6 months, this
That's
board
good.
stops and takes a look at the policy, if it's working, what's changed, it's statewide, citywide, and then make changes and/or continue it for another 6 months. And it's just something that this board could use as a document to help get us through until you decide whether you want it something that actually be implemented into your rules and regulations.
Right. And
Or-
it could be every year, because in our rules and regulation, it says that the board and staff can request vendors that are being
Absolutely.
reviewed to come in and do a presentation. So it fits already, that part fits
Absolutely.
into
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I don't think we're as far away from consensus and something.
I think
permanent.
even in testing, I think if a board member wants to pull a product at any given time to have it tested,
Who's gonna pay for the testing?
Who's going to pay for it?
The thing
Not
is,
much.
here, a lot of this could just be resolved if they just didn't use the term CBD, which, and oftentimes is not actually even what it is, it's hemp seed.
It's hemp seed.
And if they just took the word CBD out of the
Well,
whole
but
thing.
that's their marketing ploy, as you know.
But But
That's
is
what
it,
makes
but
people
is
wanna
it
buy
even
'em.
CBD?
Who
Correct.
knows?
That is the question.
Who knows?
We can tell that, right, by the testing that
Yeah.
is provided?
Yes.
That they would provide this board,
And we
right?
require them to show us the
provide it
test.
now.
So
And-
I don't,
and
I don't
like the
think it
idea
would
of getting
be
retested. I
wrong
like
for
that
us
a
to
lot.
say that it needs, your labeling needs to say exactly what it is. So if the testing that someone provides this board is not actually CBD, then their labeling needs to state that. That's kind of like false
Well, it
advertising.
is.
That is
Well,
false
that's the
advertising.
gimmick, is the CBD is a gimmick to all these people now. And that's how they're getting away on a 3%, selling it for $70.
Gotcha, okay. So
And
I,
it's not 3%, it's point
Point
zero
zero.
zero
Point
Yeah, I
zero,
have
yeah.
the numbers wrong.
of, what is it called?
It's .03.
all they're saying,
On a dry weight basis. Did you know that?
Say that again. I'm shaking my head yes, but I didn't hear things.
It has to be 0.003% on a dry weight basis.
Whatever that means.
0.03, that's 3/10, it's 3/10.
That's,
Isn't that?
that's
Which is nothing.
infinitesimal.
I know.
So why does it work?
But it doesn't at that level. That's what I'm telling you. That's
No,
why
I
it's
know,
like a
but
snake
People
oil.
are telling me it does.
Not at that percent, not, ask for the milligrams or the percentage and you'll find it's
Really?
higher than that.
Yeah.
Yes.
okay, so I will, I'm sorry, did you have something to say? I don't want to cut you off.
Yes, the higher milligrams.
I do have something to say, maybe as a summary. Apparently, I love to summarize things. I like to go
Do
1,
it.
2, and
Do it.
3.
That's good, I like
Okay, number 1. Forgot number 3, but anyway. Number 1, Joy is saying just keep it in the regular category. All of this rigmarole that we could watch any of our videos for the last 2 months or so and see how much time is devoted to this just fits in the category. It just can't, because if it did fit into the regular category, we wouldn't be talking about it for hours. That's summary number 1. Number 2 is that Julie said, oh, but it's only 3 drops, so maybe it doesn't do anything, and it's this much. And we should investigate it or request things, but that would also mean that we would have to do that same thing with other lotions and oils that are being sold, let's say, with 3 drops of vanilla oil. Does that make sense? In other words, we can't say, you're going to be tested, but the other lotions aren't. I mean, I think that's like some kind of
Disparate
rule
treatment,
where you
yeah.
don't. So in other words, before we start doing these things, we have to look at the bigger picture. We are spending a lot of time, doesn't fit into these groups. We can't just pull out one and say, well, you're charging too much and there really isn't 3 drops, unless we check all the other types of lotions and oils and get their testing too. Then 3, I can't remember what 3 is right now, but anyway, I think we need to look at this carefully. That's my summary, because it's out of hand, in my opinion. We want to make the right decision, and so that's why we are discussing it so thoroughly.
Yeah, and I do want to tell you that CBD is still considered a cannabis item. It's still a marijuana item. No matter what, it's still labeled in the government as a marijuana item.
It's not labeled as a marijuana item, it's labeled as a new drug. That's the difference. It's a new drug, and it takes about 10 years for the FDA to do testing on it. So it's not considered, CBD is not considered marijuana byproduct.
But-
Yeah, that's
and
my understanding.
The state of California says it's legal, and that's all I care about. What they do in Washington is what they do in Washington. I can't control it. None of us can
You're
control
very
it.
busy,
And I think
Mark.
what,
They're not going to do anything on this that they don't have to, not with the group that's running the zoo right now.
and I think what's going to control CBD vendors at VillageFest is if their product is good, they will stay. If their product is not good, they're going to leave and phase out. So it really, I mean, that's with any vendor or any kind of
Right.
category. If your product is good,
Yeah.
it's going to sell. If it's not,
The
it's
street
not.
gets rid of it.
Yeah, the street
Right.
determines.
Too many jewelry, the street will get rid of it.
Yeah.
We don't have to
Right.
police it.
And if it got to the point where it was really negatively affecting the tenor of the street fair, then I think we could talk about it. But I don't think that that's going to happen. But we don't know.
I think people that are selling it, people that are buying it or out-of-towners will find out that it really doesn't work at that level of grams. Yes,
Wait a minute.
go ahead.
I happen to have bought something downtown, okay? A while ago.
Did you
And
go back?
the man told me that it could help my headaches, and it did, okay?
Did you put it on your, how did
Yeah,
you?
I just put it up here.
All right.
You know, I suffer from chronic back pain, really bad. And I know there's people in that street walking up and down with so many pains. You know, if there's something on that street that can help, so be it. Take it, try it. When you have bad pain,
You're willing to
you're
try
willing to
anything,
try.
aren't you?
Do you know what
Because
the
I'll tell
how
you,
many
the option,
milligrams?
excuse me, the option for me is painkillers.
Yeah.
I don't want to take those. So I'm probably going down the street, I'm going to ask somebody, you have anything for the back? And I'm going to try it. And then I'll let you know if it works.
Do you know how many milligrams of CBD was in those products?
In your
No, I'd have
Is
to
it-
go
'cause
home
it-
and look at
that's
it.
really-
So as I
that-
was continuing on that is, I
Yes.
didn't say all, I said there are some.
Yeah.
Correct,
And
there are.
the ones that don't work, you know, I mean, a lot of people that are on the street shopping are people that live here. And like I said, the people that, you know, patronize these people, and if things don't work, or they don't like the jewelry, they don't like this, they're not gonna make it, and they will be gone. Just
Well,
get rid
Gives
of
our
people.
product a bad name, though.
I had a bottle of water with infused
Our
CBD.
product is CBD product. It is our product, so.
I had
Whose
a-
product?
The healing,
Oh,
the
the
healing,
healing
the
profession.
healing profession.
I had a bottle of water with CBD infused, 10 milligrams, but the way it was processed, when it hits your body, it's like 100 times. Put me to sleep. I mean, it wasn't bad or anything, but it just,
Yeah,
I
you
wasn't
missed the
expecting it,
meeting,
but
you
I
missed the
just-
city council meeting.
yeah. I did, but the city
I
council,
know.
that meeting
That must
lasted
have
until
been a
like
good-
11 o'clock.
That must have been a good.
But I mean, it was fine, I mean,
I don't-
but
is it
it
supposed
was a
to do
very
that?
relaxing drink. I don't think I
Shouldn't do
would have
that.
drank as much if I knew that was gonna react. And
Well,
everything
anyway-
reacts differently to different people.
Anyway, I think we can agree that on some of this, we're going to disagree. We're
Right.
leaving here
Yes.
friends.
Right. Yes.
I apologize to my
Please.
two buddies here
Yeah.
because I did something over the weekend. And I sent it to Jasmine prematurely.
It's
So-
okay because it does
So
actually
don't
have
read
a
it.
lot of
Don't
really
read
good
it.
information that I can use to help create
Yeah,
a
and
single
it's not
document.
gospel, it's Mike talking at 2:00 in the morning. It's better than talking to the television.
good.
It did, looks great.
Thank you.
Oh,
Oh, my God. Yeah, all right,
Will have a big.
but I want you to look at the original stuff because that's what our committee sent to you guys. And we'll get it to
Well,
everybody.
this one looks very educational.
No, no,
The
no,
last one you sent
please
out?
keep those,
Right.
and then I will also
And
email out.
it's
the
this is a
documents.
working document, we're a working board, so I think next time, let's see if we can come to some conclusions, if not all of them. Thank you for checking with the health department, that's a
Got it.
biggie.
Yeah.
At least that takes some of the,
Brownies for you.
yeah, and they're gonna go back to the,
Well, you, we're finished,
oh,
yeah.
all right, what are we
We
doing?
still have some more items on the
Do
agenda.
we have to? I wanna go home.
I know, everyone's like, we're
I wanna
done.
put something on the grill. All right, where are
We're
we?
not finished.
Okay, companion service animal policy, you presented something at the last meeting and that I thought was fine.
I'm not sure, was there, I know there was discussion about it, is that something we want to kind of adopt as policy?
I would.
Okay. Just, there's just a lot of discussion about it.
They
We
have
read
to
it out
let us
loud.
know.
It has to be only service animals, it can't be a companion or that
horses
type
and
of thing.
dogs.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mini horses, not
Right.
big
And-
horses.
and mini-
Yeah.
mini horses.
Maybe a giraffe.
And
How do
there are certain things.
how do you prove they're service dogs?
You
really
don't, you
can't.
can't.
You
You
can't.
So
cannot.
Somebody
anybody
have
can
to
say,
stay
that's
Exactly.
a service dog.
Exactly,
So-
exactly.
But either way, if you have a vendor that has a troublesome animal at the
Right.
booth, it
Oh,
needs
yeah.
to be addressed.
At least we
Right.
now
And
have a
in- In that
policy.
policy, if they're barking
And-
or
Well, I
whining,
think they need
they
to
have to
be
be restrained.
and tied, like that one incident he got out of.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
the-
well, that's already a Village Fest requirement, Ron, is that not, that they have to be leashed? Is that all, that's
They have to be
already?
leashed in control of the
Well,
owner.
that night, that guy let him loose and he got out and.
Yeah, that's, the animal
No, he
got
was
killed.
on a leash. He was tight,
Oh,
yeah.
it was too long.
Yeah, it can't be more than 6 feet.
So anyway, we now have a policy, we can,
Okay. We will place it under legislative action at
For
the
next
next board
time.
meeting, just so
Thank
the
you.
board can take a vote to have that as a working policy.
okay, that's great. All right, is there anything else on, thank you, Committee on Companion Animals. I appreciate
This
that.
is worse than smoking.
What is? The smoking isn't. Compliance.
So we
That's
had
another
talked
committee.
about compliance committee, what that looked like. So we said we were gonna put it back on the agenda so the board could discuss.
Okay, let's discuss. Do you want to go
Well,
around the table?
who's on, is
You.
me and who else? Who I get?
You and you and Julie, I thought, were on
No,
compliance.
that was the
Street,
companion.
it was-
Compliance, who's on?
Her and Julie.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to know for my own sake, and when I wrote my tome here, I like definitions. What is your definition of compliance? But compliance can be everything from making sure their booth is the right width to testing to inspections. Where do we draw the line on compliance, and what falls into the board's domain versus staff's domain as
Well,
far as
it's,
compliance?
I think the way it's explained is that we would be out on the street, the committee, and looking at the vendors, and we see some issues, and those issues are then submitted to the staff, and then they make the decision of what to do. So the compliance, as we're walking around, could be, they don't have any tablecloths, or they have too many boxes in back of them that they're supposed to be underneath,
Okay.
or they're blocking building.
Not enough light.
Or they're selling something not on.
Exactly,
that
or
they
they're
didn't get
hawking,
approved
or
for.
they're being very loud and just,
Okay.
do they have their Village Fest permit visible? Do they have, if they're downtown retail merchandise, do they have their sign up?
Yeah.
Just things, just, you know,
Right.
like, just normal things.
And Julie, I'm so glad
we're-
you
and the-
mentioned lighting, because that snow cone booth and the two booths to the left of the snow cone booth, as you look at it, have lighting that is shining in people's eyes and is horrible.
And that would
It
be
looks
something-
like a
And something
ghetto.
like that, the committee would just call the
Right.
manager on duty and say, I think there's an issue, they'll
Right.
come down and look at it or something like that.
And across from them, one of the booths had a tent sign on metal stanchions that was in the walkway. And last weekend, it was packed. And I personally moved that sign back. I didn't even ask because somebody was gonna walk into it,
Yeah.
probably me. But anyway, these are things that if we walk the fair, we will see them.
Yeah.
And we will then, we'll come up with a guideline to, a way to send them to staff and then they can
Well, like
adjudicate.
Julie was walking the street and she saw a vendor selling water with CBD, and that was not approved by the board. So that's something that should be reported to the staff immediately, and they will
Correct.
take care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
wanna make-
actually, I would love to know who that is, so I could address it with them, because we went and we visited for 2 weeks now. We've gone to check every CBD just to make
They've
sure
taken it down.
that, and I have not had,
It was at a CBD.
Actually, I
At
know
a
the
regular
vendor,
booth.
when she told me she was out there, I told her that she couldn't do that unless she brought it to the board. So I
Okay.
think she took it down the next week.
okay.
Didn't
But
have it.
do report that immediately. That type of stuff
But
needs to be
pictures say
addressed on site.
1,000, snap a picture. They say
That's all.
1,000.
Absolutely.
1,000
I
words.
contact Jasmine probably once a week on
That's okay.
something to do with
Right.
Village
Uh-huh.
Fest. I just take a picture, I send it, and then it's up to staff to
Right.
decide what to do with
And
it.
just for clarification purposes, we shouldn't be interacting with
Yeah.
the vendors.
Right,
We can ask a question, we can take a photo, and we should.
yeah.
But as far as telling them what they should and shouldn't do,
Yes,
I
that
think
is-
that's
yeah.
kind
Staff
of
is
gray
Oh,
should
no,
be
area.
doing
let me clarify that.
Yeah.
That was a vendor that sold them the product that
Oh,
is a vendor
oh,
in
oh,
our
that's a-
industry.
that's different.
So, no, not the
Yeah,
vendor
just be
itself.
careful with that, because we don't want to create
Yeah.
animosity, and
Right.
then they have to
Or get
deal with
punched in the
it.
face.
And
Or
there's
get
certain-
punched in the
happened-
face.
It has
Oh.
happened in the past where there has been
Classic
bad
people.
interactions between the Village Fest board and a vendor that
doesn't
could
need to
just
be.
get upset. So, you
Just
know,
observe
just
and report.
observe, take a
Right.
picture, send it to Jasmine and Faith.
Right.
That's,
And I look at it as a compliance is a process to help the vendor do well at Village Fest. Not only sell their products, but be part of
And not make 'em
understanding
mad.
our rules and regulations. It's just
Yeah.
helping them.
Does your subcommittee want to create a one-paragraph thing? I don't know what you would call it, a directive or suggestion?
Yeah, we
on
could, like,
What we're
you know,
talking
guideline.
about, because it can mean different things to people coming after us.
Oh, like what the compliance subcommittee does? Is that
Yeah,
what you mean?
yeah, what the expectations are of this board with
Gotcha.
respect to compliance.
Okay.
I think we can provide a very valuable role, provided that we do not inadvertently overstep the roles of staff.
Everybody here has walked the street before and
yeah.
looked at the booths, and you just could see, you just go, oh yeah, that's
Right.
like not right there, that we didn't approve that, or where's their sign, or where's their tent, or
Or is it
whatever.
enough just to say, we're gonna be a compliance board, and we're gonna divide up the,
Well, like Thursday night, we are going to walk the street, Tina and I, so. Wish us luck.
Lovely.
And then when I.
arm in
And one of the things when you are looking at a booth, I always wear my shirt, my polo shirt, so it identifies me. I always introduce myself. Hi, you know, and I sort of,
That's
how
fine.
are things going? Is there anything that you need help on?
It amazes
And
me
especially-
how many remember
Oh,
me.
right, they do.
Yeah, they do remember.
And,
Yeah, that's me.
you know, and especially if they're a new vendor and it's the first time on the street, that first night on the street is probably one of the most traumatic nights that they're ever going to experience, because they don't know where to drive, where to park, unload. So welcome them and say thank you.
thank
and
them, always thank them for being there.
here in Village
Even
Fest.
if they're not new, thank them for being there. It doesn't hurt,
Right.
doesn't cost us anything, and it means a lot.
I went into several of our new stores downtown the other day, and I told each one of them, I said, you know, Thursday night is VillageFest. Oh, yeah, they all were excited. And I said,
And when we had
"Oh."
the birthday party,
Yeah.
I went to all the stores, all the new stores that were open, and introduced myself and thanked them for being open on Thursday night. And and they were all packed. They must be really happy that you know,
Yeah.
they have traffic in the stores on Thursday.
Okay, I guess we beat that to death.
Yeah, let's do
All
it.
right, Main Street. Yeah.
A question, on
Yeah.
the compliances that I submitted last week, was there any follow-up on that?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
I'll
Do you
just
wanna
go
do
through
that
those real
staff report
briefly.
or now, or?
Okay, yeah, I was gonna go over it with staff, but I'll just be really brief. There were a couple categories, a couple items that were on your list. Gold Rusher Elixir, who we talked with, they changed their website. He did it while I was on the phone with them, and then Faith and I went back and looked at it, and it's correct now. It does not have the city's endorsement in any way.
Yeah,
I
it was endorsed by the city.
did, I went to their booth, this Thursday, and took a photo and compared it to the photo that is in his packet, and it's the exact same booth photo. Actually, it looks a little bit nicer now than it did in the photo. And he is going to change his marketing material so that it reflects his business, but what he did do is he went and changed his, business name to the Professor Sasquatch. So he said he was kind of like in the in-between, and he was trying to get that done. So actually, our documentation actually has the Professor Sasquatch information on it. So that was that particular vendor.
And his lighting is so poor that you can't even read the labels.
He
good.
made an update. So we brought the file. If you want to take a look at it and let us know if
I'm
you have
happy
any
to-
questions. The vendor regarding the silver items.
Oh, yeah, the pewter
Yes.
from Mexico.
Okay, so her booth photo in her application is the exact same booth that she has set up. So we brought the application, take an opportunity to go through it. She's got very detailed photos of her making the product. If you still feel uncomfortable, we can bring her back.
Okay, now
But-
she says that her family makes the products in Mexico. That's what she told me.
Okay, you could take a look at her, it says on here about her family business in Mexico for more than 25 years. And these are the items that the board originally approved. So take a look at it.
That's fine.
If you feel uncomfortable, let us know. We will have them come back. Awesome Polishes, you were concerned whether they were actually making their product or not. And they have also very detailed photos of their product being made and their booth photo that also looks exactly the same. So take a look at that.
Okay. Can you look at their website?
Can we look at their
Yeah,
website?
can you look at
Absolutely.
because it says they are, I forget, on their booth they have Awesome Polish and then another sign. I don't remember what that was. But that's who makes the product. And they have been in business, they've been in business relationship with them for over 14 years.
Okay. Well, take a look at the application for me, and let me know, because they do have pretty detailed photos of their product.
Oh, no, I'm just saying the website is different than what.
The question on the Awesome Polish is, are they making the product themselves? And they've submitted photos that
Right, and I
looks like they're
remember,
making it
and I
themselves.
remember that.
Yes, yes.
Because I asked them.
Yeah, I know.
I personally remember asking them, do you make your products in a warehouse or a facility? And they said yes.
Okay.
But when I went to their website, it doesn't state that they're making it. It's this other company that they buy it from. And it's very clear that they purchased the product.
Well, there's a difference with, if they have photos of them making the product, isn't that different than,
It's like saying
yeah,
Well,
I'm confused.
But is it like, do you believe everything you read on the internet?
It's their
I
website.
mean,
It's their
it's-
website.
I know
They're
it's a-
promoting
Right,
this
but
product.
these are the items that the board requests. Now, if we want to change what the items are that the board requests, when they come to the board, that's okay. But what's in their application are the items that are on your application checklist.
And that's what they're
And that's
selling.
what's in here.
And that's what they're
Well,
selling.
They're selling it, but
Right, so we can invite them back. The problem is gonna be that we're gonna have the same list that says all the same items, and they're gonna provide the same information, and this board's gonna be up against the wall making a difficult
And
decision.
this is what I was
well,
talking
can we
about with
ask them what
compliance.
their affiliation is with this?
Absolutely, that's gonna require bringing them back to the board, because those types of questions, the validity of their product needs to come from this board, because you're the ones that make the decision whether it's approved or not. Staff just enforces that, whatever it is that you guys
So is there a
decide.
question whether they're in fact distributing it rather than the
Right.
actual maker?
Making
Is
it.
that
Right.
what your
Right.
question
Right.
is?
So if we don't believe it, then maybe we need to, what we've done in the past of when we've kind of, been up against the wall, is we've asked them to provide a video, very detailed video of them making their product in whatever space it is.
Why don't we
okay.
request that they
Well,
come in?
no,
and we
what I'll
talk
do
to
is
them,
have the, Joy and Mar, if you could go to their website and see how you interpret their website, and maybe I'm wrong, and I don't have, we don't have to worry
And
about it.
staff will as
Could
well.
you give
I
me
made
the
myself
name
a note.
again?
Austin Polish.
Yeah.
That's not the name of their website though, is it?
Oh, they give it.
Might be.
AwesomePolish.com.
Okay. We'll go look at that
Yeah,
and
okay.
see.
And then we'll,
Okay.
staff will as well.
They buy it.
Okay.
So the other vendor was the vendor, Leon Imports with the Leather Works. Faith and I went back and looked at their booth last week. Faith pointed out which ones you were concerned about. This is another vendor who we've had
I know.
back multiple times. I asked her, she does have pictures of her leather work in here, but not necessarily the little animal ones that you want to see. So I talked to her last week. I asked her gave her a couple weeks to get us some photos of her making those products. They are obviously very handmade. Whether they're handmade by her or not, we'll have to see. I asked her to provide us.
Well, the gentleman that was at the booth said that he purchases the animal part from someone in Colombia, and he then stitches the bag and attaches the flap to that bag.
Okay.
That was the man that was here a couple weeks ago?
No, he
And
hasn't
I
been
haven't
back in a
been
couple
back.
years.
So I was just concerned, it's a new
I just heard
product.
that in a lot of
It's a new product. I thought he would bring it to us and say, I'm having these
It's a new
handbags.
product, that's different.
Yeah, see, we approved, it's got a very generic leather bags, which
Right.
those are still leather bags, it's just kind of a different type of a leather bag
Right.
is what it looks like.
So
So we asked for more photos of them hand making that product, and then we'll go from there.
Right, and
They'll
again,
be
if
at
you-
your next board meeting.
Again, if you go to their website, it sort of sounds like they're importers.
Yeah, I mean, their business name is Leon Imports.
Oh,
Yeah,
does that
and
tell
it's
you?
from- and they
That
even-
was they have been before the board, I would say at least 4 times, because people don't think they make their stuff, so, but every time she shows up, she shows that
You know,
she makes
it's
And
like the
that's
jewelry
fine,
lady.
but see, I think by doing that, it's saying to them, the board checks on them.
Right.
So don't try to pull anything on us, because we're checking, we have compliances, we
Yeah.
check on you. So
Absolutely.
it keeps them in line, and that's what I think the compliance board does, is helps these vendors stay in line. with what
And
we're doing.
it's not a problem on our behalf, because it's nice to have some backup, and especially from the board, who has the authority to, revoke their permits. So this one was the garlic grater, the secondary garlic grater that we have. And it's another one that's, their packet shows that they hand make their product. However, we have received complaints from them in the past, so if that is something we want to bring them back, we just have to be prepared that they're gonna supply the exact same information. Unless we ask for something in greater detail, proving that they make their own product.
It's a garlic grater. Do we really want to waste our time on a garlic grater if they already have photos and they're
but
going
we
to
have-
tell you they
But we
make
do
them?
have a garlic grater who is local, who makes his products right here.
I know he does.
They're handmade. This particular one, I'm sure those graters are handmade. I just don't think he
Yeah.
hand makes them.
Okay, but then if we're not sure, then
It just
we
says
have
made
to,
in the US. Why does it say made in California, made in Palm Springs? Why isn't that?
we have to,
Or,
what
a
do you
stamp.
want to ask of him?
To
What do
put
we-
on his items made by his name.
We don't ask that of members.
Right, so we have to be consistent,
Right.
unless we wanna invite them back, have them re-present their product, which is okay, that's not that big of a
Sure.
deal. We'll send a re-jury letter, ask them to resupply information, maybe add a CD of them hand making their product. And from that board meeting, this board could say, why is it that you have made in the USA as opposed to made by John Jacob, or made in Palm
Those are
Springs,
legitimate
or something
And
like that?
again, their website is very vague, it's very
Yeah.
wholesale looking, or it doesn't
Okay.
look like a handmade.
So what do you want, you're the
I'd
compliance
like to
guy.
rejury them.
You
Okay,
wanna
we'll have
rejury
them come
Okay.
back.
Files if you wanna
Yeah.
look at that.
Okay.
We will send a rejury letter to that vendor and ask them to come to probably
Good.
not your next meeting, but the following.
And I think it's important because we have a good garlic grater who's very good, and we have to protect his, uniqueness.
And he fought.
He did.
He fought hard
Yeah,
to
we-
get in
yeah,
here.
At the beginning,
Come
we had a
on.
hard
Oh,
time.
yeah, and he
figuring
tried to
that
do
out.
things like he wanted a retail store downtown. He
Yeah.
had
He had a shop on the second
just a
floor.
gallery on
Indian
the second
Canyon
floor,
or
and it
something.
just,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that made us work a little
Oh,
hard
yeah,
too on the
yeah.
board, trying to figure
Yeah,
out.
that was a
some new
learning
rules.
experience.
And I think the word gets out to our vendors that, we have to watch our P's and Q's now. We can't, we were
Because
relaxing.
believe it or not, a
Chains with the
garlic
jewelry
grater was
lady.
almost as controversial as CPD.
It was.
Honestly,
It
I
was.
swear to
It
God.
It was.
How many times
was
did
rough.
garlic
You
grater
cannot
guy
believe
come
it.
back?
4 or
Not
5
wanna
board
be here
meetings
for the
before he
garlic
got
Right?
And having the pig in the booth is just like right now with our animal.
So,
Having
right,
the
so
pig here on
we
trial
run
is
into
worse.
It's always
controversy. It's always something where you try not to pick on individual things, and
Did you
it's
have
always
anything else?
something.
Did I have the copper bracelet person?
Actually, I'm waiting for a phone call from
Okay.
her. So we
Okay.
asked her to remove items that we were not, on a staff level, we were not 100%. So she did not have them out last week, and then I'm supposed to talk with her this week
Okay.
to make sure we have them in line or back before you at the next
I
board
think
meeting.
she, we stopped looking at them, and so she just started putting them
Well,
out.
by
So
then-
no one's talking about it. I'm gonna do it until I
like
get
a
my hand
blob.
slapped, and then I'll pull it back,
Absolutely.
because they
You
can
s-
make that extra
You
money.
squeeze it here and it oozes out somewhere else. Okay, well,
People
we're
get
on
greedy.
it. Anything else on compliance? Thank you, Compliance Committee,
Yeah,
good job.
good,
Thank you
wow,
for bringing it up.
That's great.
And we'll follow up with the rejury and the letters and the photo. Main Street, comments.
Yeah, what's
I
happening?
have,
She has
so
them.
I just have 2 things I want to say, just because I want some things to be understood here. When VillageFest first started in downtown Palm Springs, there was a lot of controversy then as to whether or not VillageFest would be allowed to have a street fair of retail booths, hundreds of them, every single week downtown. Could have been very burdensome to the merchants. And so this is why we have such strict rules about it, because if they are making it, then it's not a product that can directly be competing with a store, because otherwise, how could the stores not protest having such an event 51 times a year, that is so promoted and everything? So I just want that to be, understood is that, that's why personally I'm a stickler about it, is because I'm trying to help make sure that this event doesn't overshadow the stores on the street as well. Okay, so I just want to say that as one thing. And then the other thing I want to say is God bless freedom of speech. So one of the comments and problems that I've been having recently, and honestly, I think that there's a whole can of worms being unleashed right now in regards to freedom of speech, and this city, of course, is very supportive of freedom of speech, and so we have people setting up at VillageFest that are not booth holders,
Yeah, I've seen it.
and they get to do it.
On the pavement.
Really?
And
Behind the booths, on the
so-
sidewalk, right?
Yeah, well,
They're
they
by
are
the
supporting
retail.
They're on the sidewalks.
veganism, and so they have some very gruesome videos that they're showing in the street that, let's just say, if it were to be something that came before this board, we wouldn't support, because it is very super disturbing videos.
Really?
Yes, and they're
Yeah,
right
this has
in
come
front
up
of some of my
before.
merchants, and Jasmine can't help me with it for these merchants' sake, because people are like, they want to run past, they don't want to stop. So I think that just in general in society, there might be some trouble ahead with that. I don't know how this will exactly affect us both at VillageFest, and also we're seeing some things with entertainers and stuff on the weekends because of freedom of speech, that they cannot be stopped because we have to respect that freedom of speech. So this particular one, though, I mean, every week I get calls. I call you a couple times about it, but I mean, I already know we can't do anything about it apparently, but I guess.
Are they
it's-
blocking the street,
No,
or is it
no,
the police
no,
department?
No,
They
they're on
can't
a
help
corner,
you?
they're on a corner.
No,
And
they can't
where
help.
did they get their electricity to run their?
They brought their own.
their generator?
Are they allowed to have a generator?
They've been there since the summer.
Yeah, this was we brought this before you, and we remember we started
Is this
receiving
the animal
complaint.
people or the
Yeah.
abortion
Vegan.
Animal.
The animal people.
So
And then
we
was-
received letters during the summer from a couple of guests to VillageFest, one whose child was a little bit traumatized by running up to this video because, you know, kids love TV and watching animals being slaughtered. And then we had some vendors who were really upset because they were in certain areas, and the city attorney tried to address it, the police department tried to address it, but ultimately what it came down to, as long as they're on the sidewalks and not at, because we do have an ordinance that prohibits vendors setting up at a special event, which VillageFest is, without a permit or approval for participation. So we can get them onto the sidewalks, but then they're on the sidewalks, so they're just now in someone else's way. They're just not in the way of the people on the street.
Is it possible if we had a sign made that said, this particular group
we don't
is
think
not affiliated or approved by VillageFest?
I'm sure we can.
Because I think
that in
that is one of the things, is people think that this
yeah.
is somebody that we,
That's why I think if we could do that.
are
This is not-
endorsing.
I'm not sure that we can, because
Well,
Village
'cause you
Fest is in the street, it's not on the sidewalk.
No.
They're
it's-
right there.
I mean, they're
They're up
facing
right
out
there.
on,
We're-
they find
we're-
the best open spot,
Yeah, the tinderbox. in that area.
and
Yeah, I know.
take up space on the sidewalk.
Well, I think it's a city problem.
Well, it's a VillageFest problem.
No, the city allows, the other cities consider that impeding traffic flow or blocking pedestrians. The city doesn't, because we're very liberal about those things, and freedom of speech and freedom to gather. I mean, I have to walk over homeless people at that shopping center where the bicycle store is. And that's not right. They shouldn't be out there perpendicular to a sidewalk, but they can be. So we can put up all the signs we want, it's not gonna solve the problem.
No, I don't think it'll solve the problem. It will just take the burden of, it's a village
So
fest.
that our village fest
They don't
people
think it's a,
know that
and we could say this
know.
is a freedom of
Yeah.
speech, whatever. It's just a sign, just, I
I
don't know.
understand, because we do. Originally, we received a lot of complaints from guests to VillageFest, wondering why this board and the city would allow something of that nature.
And how would you put that sign up? Because if you put that sign up next to a person, the person's gonna move, right? I'm trying to
I
think
would
about,
follow them
how
down the
would you do
street
that
personally.
logistically?
You make me in charge.
Right?
I will follow them.
I'll be in charge.
I will wear a shirt
Yeah.
and stand next to
Actually,
them.
that's what you need to do, because then they're legal.
Not
You know, like those
approved
guys
by
that try to come to the
VillageFest
car wash.
with an arrow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do
one
they
of the-
face to street
I
fair?
don't think they're
They face
shooting
on the
anybody.
street,
They're
yes.
pretty
They
low.
do.
Two big screens now.
So what if you were to put
That's
some
ridiculous.
type of canopy, like in areas, and let them keep,
That's how
They
they ended up
move.
there.
Where they are.
Because Faith has been strategically trying to place people with large backdrops, with, you know, panels to block them, and they just basically move to wherever there's, so now they're in a spot that is on a pop out, and it's like on the corner, so we technically can't get a vendor there and safely in that spot.
We could possibly put a saxophone player next to them, however.
We have
or
someone on the
a-
other corner.
Oh, good one, okay.
I
Of course.
Right on the
of
corner,
course.
yeah.
I think we're doing everything we can.
Yeah, well, I think, check with the attorney, see if we can put a sign in front of him, just so it says it's not an approved Village Fest whatever thing. It's a First Amendment right issue.
Well, we don't have to tell everybody
But,
about the First Amendment, right? Let them figure that part out themselves.
I
Yeah.
One night I was there, and there were these two ladies, and they were arguing because they had a cattle ranch that supplies meat. And they started arguing with them, and I said, I said, why do you have that mask on? Why are you hiding yourself? Why aren't you making it public that who you are? And he said, I'm taking it, my face would take away the issue here.
Probably would.
No.
And it's like a Halloween mask.
Yeah.
So that's why I think kids say, ooh, there's a clown or something, and then they see
Yeah.
these sheep and they think they're animals, and then they,
I-
oh.
I
But
think
you know what
we're
the sad
spending
thing
too
is
much time on
Palm
this.
Springs is so loving. Everybody has dogs, everybody has cats, everybody has everything. And Palm Springs is so nurturing to everyone that
like
has
a village.
animals. Everybody's warm for these people to come and do it there. I've seen them once or twice. I didn't think they were there every week.
Every Thursday.
Yeah,
But,
that's kind of offensive, but you know what? Like you said, it's their free speech right, and I think that, you know, the average American citizen that travels gets it. You go to New York, you see them on every corner. You go to Europe, you see them on every corner. This is not anything new. I don't like it anymore.
Do they
than
live here?
anybody else. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, one of them's Laura.
I think one of them does.
And
We've talked
she used
to
to
them.
work for me.
See, there
Just
you
thought I'd
go.
mention that.
Small town.
Yeah.
Okay.
She won't like that then.
Well, I'll wait for a staff report.
Okay. Staff reports, getting to know your community. God, it's getting
Right,
to
so
be that time.
yeah, it's that time. So last year, we were a little delayed in getting notices out to everyone, so we didn't have we didn't have a good response for the month of June. We did for July, August, and September. So what we would like to do is get those notices out probably in the next week or so to our current list that we've sent to over the last few years, and see if there were any additional participants that this board would like us to send them to, just so that we can encourage participation in June as well.
Right, so everybody knows this is for our summer months when we have a lot of extra unsold space, and we invite the nonprofits to come. And how we did it last year, whether you have arts in August and nonprofits in July, I don't care how we do it, but it's nice to fill that space and provide a forum for these groups that don't have a lot of money and
Absolutely.
maybe can't afford to exhibit. I think it's a great
And each year,
idea.
this program has grown, so
Yeah.
we're looking forward to getting it out there with enough notice so we can get some participation in June,
Right.
as well as July, August.
Is there any interest in changing the name to call it Meet Your Community or Know Your Community? It
Would
just
that be
seems
this
to.
word?
I'm going to ask you because you invented it. I just think it's too long. It's not, it doesn't grab me. But
Know your community.
Know Your Community or Meet Your Community, what does everybody
Know your
think?
community, yeah.
Meet your, com-
Yeah, meet, because now
Meet,
I think
no,
getting
no.
to know, I think a lot of people have already known, now it's, let's
Meet
meet
your-
them again.
meet your community?
New ones, and that's,
Uh,
so meet.
How many people like Meet Your Community? How many people like Know Your
I
Community?
like know your.
Okay, the
Your
Meet
community it is.
Meet Your Communities is the majority, so.
And if any,
Meet.
could you send a
isn't
list of
consult.
the current,
At least we agree on
current nonprofits that are participating, and send it to the board, and the board can review it, and if there's a nonprofit that you would like to see on it, that we can extend an invitation, then get back to Faith.
So can they come all summer? I mean,
Where's the
because it
max?
turns out that you don't have like a huge list of people waiting to do it. But I'm just wondering, because the 1 PS meeting is Thursday, I could announce it there.
Do you want us to send you the letter, so we
Yes.
can send it tomorrow and then you'll have it on hand?
Yes, please.
Because there's a certain amount that you can participate.
Okay.
some other
Would
weeks.
you like your chairman to announce it?
Oh, you'll be there.
No, you can announce it.
Oh, you announce
No,
it.
they know you. Go
Next
announce
Saturday.
it.
I was thinking, who else will
We'll
be
get
there?
that together.
Oh, yeah, I'll be there. No, go ahead. That's fine.
Okay, we'll get that to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's it from staff.
Okay, I have a question for staff.
Yes.
Last meeting, we asked,
Okay.
was it SYL Jewelry?
Yes. Mhm.
To provide receipts for their sterling silver
Yes.
packing? Have we gotten it?
Yes.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, they had them in our office the next morning.
The thing I forgot to ask them is, how do they stamp their sterling silver, the 995? How do
Yeah,
they do
that was
that?
a very, very good question, because
And I
on
forgot
staff
to
level,
ask
that was
that.
one of those things that was like,
And I
Did you
forgot
find
to
out?
ask.
no, we
No,
didn't
we
ask.
didn't.
Do they, how do you stamp jewelry?
Well,
they
if it's
showed
when
us.
it's sterling and it's hot, then it just is cooling, you stamp it. But
It has to be warm though, right?
yeah, it has to
Well,
be warm enough to
yeah.
impress, but it not, so it's still liquid.
You can't do it after it's cold.
No, oh, no.
No.
A lot of times it's in the mold. 'Cause
Yeah,
there's
that's
That's
what
what
I
I'm
was gonna
thinking,
say.
because they're using
I
wax
think
mold.
it's
It might
in
be
the
in there.
plastic mold.
Right.
So you could probably
Okay.
buy the mold etched like that too.
Right.
I mean, there's just some things we're never gonna really know.
Right.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that we won't beat this
No.
dead
Right.
horse over and over
No.
anyways.
But let's get the low-hanging
They
fruit
just
first.
have so much.
All right. So getting to know your community, is there anything else for,
That's it from staff.
okay, adjourn? Should we
I'll make a
adjourn?
motion to adjourn the meeting at
Sec-
5:14.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. The meeting is adjourned at 5:14. Thank you.